this is David Terrar for Impossible Things in Technology, and today I've got John. We're actually in the wilds of Newbury. John, introduce yourself and the company, please.
My name's John Glover. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director here at Kahootz. Kahootz is a small UK tech company that's been providing cloud collaboration software since 2001. So we've been a long time player in this market.
Very good.
Based here in Berkshire, we have all of our staff and all of our data is hosted in UK, and we support primarily the public sector.
Now I have to declare an interest here because we do have one customer in common, which is the NHS England.
That's right. I mean, NHS England's the biggest employer in the UK and one of the biggest in the world, so we're very pleased to have them on board. We have started with them some years ago with about 2,500 users. They're currently running about 40,000 users on our platform.
Very good.
Growing by about 3,000 to 4,000 users per month, so it's a fantastic success story.
But you've also got the products installed at the Highways Agency and the MOD and places like that, isn't it?
Yeah, the MOD is the other bigger spender in the public sector. They're very security conscious, of course, so having them accredit our system up to what they call official and official sensitive information to share across their supply chain and with other government departments is a real feather in our...
For a public cloud solution, that's really good.
We're the only one that they've done that in the public cloud. Obviously they've got a lot of proprietary stuff behind the firewall and within inside their restricted networks, but from regards to a sort of pay-as-you-go consumable service, we're the only one they use in that area.
And when you say collaboration, give us a flavour of what kind of things you mean.
Yeah, I think our real value to a lot of organisations, they already have their own enterprise IT, they have SharePoint or some other internal system, but what they have to do more and more is work with other organisations, whether it be suppliers or partners, or customers outside, and they need to collaborate in a safe way. And they don't often have a system that's going to allow them to do that. So what Kahootz does is it allows them to quickly set up custom workspaces where they can share documents, have tasks, diaries, blogs, databases, and
all the conversations around those documents.
Absolutely, but I think the real nice thing that our clients like is that they're empowered to actually configure and customize the workspaces themselves for a particular use case and purpose. So it could be project management, or it could be a governance team, it could be policy development, it could be community of interest. You know, that flexibility and the fact you don't need to hire expensive IT consultants to do it for you is a real boon for our clients. And they've never been in that situation where they've just had this consumable service they can just roll out across their organisation.
And for a group, one of the new features you just put in is a kind of like a really cool drag and drop interface for actually configuring the homepage for a group or for the folders. That's right.
Yeah, it all goes down to the user empowerment. You know, if users build their own environments, they're more likely to look after them and to be proud about them, rather than given a tool that's been developed by some central IT department that says, well, this is how we think you work. They can actually modify it as they go along. And a lot of projects that our clients get involved in are quite organic in nature, so actually having the freedom to actually build out their workspaces and their sites really helps. And for the IT department, you know, we give them the tools that they need for governance and security, so they can do their job to make sure this doesn't become shadow IT, because a lot of organisations, they need to work with external bodies, and the way they do that is staff go off and they go and get a bit of file sharing or SurveyMonkey or whatever it is, various different tools. All of a sudden you've got your data everywhere, no one knows where it is. 13
different systems.
Absolutely, and it becomes a nightmare for a governance point of view. You know, where are those contracts, who's got them, and how am I managing that, and am I getting the best value for money for the services that I'm using? So we tend to consolidate that onto one platform, and then organisations pay for what they use as they use it, and it's a much leaner model.
And particularly from my experience of looking at the way it's being used in the NHS, it crosses all of the different organisational silos.
I mean, in NHS, their classic problem is they've got a lot of technology, SharePoint and Microsoft, with inside nhs.net, but that's not accessible by local authorities, who they have to work with on the health and social care agenda. So where's the IT infrastructure that is going to support that? All these constructs where you've got integrated care systems and sustainable transformation partnerships working together, how are they going to support that? How are they going to bring in the supply chain? So they use Kahootz through what they've branded Future NHS to actually empower these different units, the clinical commissioning groups, the trusts, to go and build their own environment to help them with their collaborations. And I know you're aware of one of them, which was to do a hospital move of some certain services from one hospital to another.
Yeah.
They've just given the tool to allow them to do that.
Yeah, all sorts of ways they use it.
Yeah.
And of course all of that supports the NHS's 5-year forward view, so it's all about getting people to work together for better patient outcomes.
That's absolutely correct. And as we go forward, they'll be adding more knowledge, richer knowledge into the system. So we're working with them on that, on how they can take learnings from one part of the country and spin it out across the others. So that, you know, any investment they make is really helps them ramp up learnings in other areas, and vice versa. You know, working at both the local, regional, and national level to spread out information. So it's really becoming a very powerful infrastructure for them.
Excellent. What's next for Kahootz?
Well, we're adding capabilities onto our platform all the time. I think
You like weekly release cycles? Is that?
yeah, well, it's an evergreening service. So being a cloud service, we're adding capabilities. We've just added this interactive dashboard, as you mentioned earlier, onto the system to allow people to quickly purpose their workspaces, and add in things like countdown timers or various applets from third-party systems. We've plugged in Microsoft Power BI, which allows NHS now to share all their performance reports with other organisations. So it's a way to actually expose a lot of data, and I think you'll see a few more integrations coming from us this year. There's a lot of extra added value tools that we're going to add, which allows our system to be more enduring with our clients, I think, rather than just using it from short-term projects. They'll see it as a more strategic asset.
Excellent, John. That's a really great UK tech story. So thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, David.
And there'll be more content like this on Impossible Things in Technology. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and track me. I'm at DT on Twitter. Thanks.